north. Cancel that.
Looking for ways to extend the reach of liberty? Then you've come to the right place. Nothing else in the Helldivers arsenal hits quite as far or as hard as the spear. When I first started using it though, my experience was just pure frustration. For taking up both a support weapon and a backpack, its seemingly inconsistent target lock system made it very frustrating to use, to the point where I was wondering why I would use this for any situation whatsoever. But after spending some time testing and learning the spear, my opinion changed entirely. This long-range rocket launcher with a mandatory lock-on system can be a bit tricky to use, especially if you don't know how and when that targeting system is going to function. So you can end up spending a lot of time wasting your time trying to get a lock on to something that never will lock on because it doesn't meet a very specific set of criteria. And once you understand that criteria, well, the results speak for themselves. A great example of how important this can be to be able to take out enemy structures from a distance is that if you have a jammer and a factory right next to it, as most of them are set up to be, you can just simply take out that factory and then the jammer goes with it. Now tell me that isn't awesome. When it comes to taking out enemy structures, really no other weapon can hold a candle to the spear, and that's just because it can take out enemy structures that are clearly on the other side of the map, way before any factories can respawn by producing troops, or any of these towers can respawn by trying to defend themselves or sniping out your team. I would describe this as its primary function, with a secondary function of trying to take out heavy units, which it can do, but not as efficiently, especially when they're very close to you. Against the automatons, it can take between 1 to 2 shots, and for the terminids even more, but this weapon is designed to be able to handle these things so long as you know how to use it. So without further ado, this is how you get good with the spear.
Feels good!
Really, what you're looking for are two different things: your placement in relation to the object you're trying to shoot at, and the targeting computer itself. What is it that it's actually looking for, and when to know if you're going to actually be able to take a shot or if you need to keep moving and find a different opportunity. Starting with placement, the high ground is going to be your best friend when you have the spear. Your job when you have the spear is to run around the battlefield, find the best places to position yourself over your target if possible in order to take them out. And that's exactly what you see happening to this Hulk right here. After this, you can see that I'm having a difficult time locking on to these other targets, and that's because they are higher up than me. And so one of the things you could do in this situation is just to back off and put some more distance between you and it, and that should allow you to get a better read on it. And the reasons for that is because of how the computer works. The best way to think about the spear's targeting computer is that it has pre-programmed set of targets that it's designed to lock onto, and then when it recognizes those targets, it will then try to lock onto it. This is why it'll lock onto a charger or a bile titan, but won't lock onto a bug hole or a hunter. When you, the Helldiver, sees part of one of these objects it's designed to lock onto, your brain automatically fills in the parts that you can't see, and you know exactly what it is that you're looking at. Unfortunately, the spear isn't that smart, and so if it can't see the full picture of that target to recognize what it is, it's not even going to try and lock onto it. Now, as you can see here, the problem with me locking on here is that there's something between me and the target, and so the computer won't lock on because it's seeing this fence, and this could be anywhere from a fence to a little half wall to a flag. Anything that is going to obscure that direct line of vision from the weapon to the target, those are all going to adversely affect your lock on. And this can also be weather conditions and especially smoke. So when lay smoke down, you are going to be effectively blind from targeting anything on the other side of it. But what about when it attempts to lock on and fails to do so? The only time the spear is actually attempting to lock on is when that yellow triangle is spinning and getting smaller. Once it disengages from that and it starts getting bigger again, that's kind of like the spear's computer resetting itself. And so at no point in time during that is it going to actually give you a lock on. The reason it's doing this is because you are very close to being in the right position, but you're not quite there. So the closer it gets to that lock on, the closer you were to being in the right spot. So the first thing you might want to do is just kind of run around a little bit in a circle where you're at, or try to find a nearby object you can climb on top of and see if that corrects the problem. And if it doesn't, then don't waste your time anymore in that location. Find a better spot that'll give you a more secure lock on. This is a good example of what I'm talking about. So with the first structure right here, it can lock on very easily, and that's because it can see the full structure. And with this flyer's nest, as you can also see, it's locking on to the bottom of it. So when you can see the top and bottom of the structure, that really helps. And so with the second nest right here, it doesn't recognize what it is, even though I know what it is, so it can't lock on. And so you have another one right here where there's a gap between the mountains where it can finally see the full thing, and that's when it finally locks on. It won't while the mountains are covering it up. This is why being up high and far back from the object helps with seeing the whole picture of it. So the spear's lock-on system is not broken and it's not finicky, it's just precise. And that does feel buggy, especially when we don't understand what's going on. But if it can't lock on, it's not because there's something wrong with the spear, it's because you're standing in the wrong spot. And once you accept this about the spear, it becomes a whole lot less frustrating and then turns into more of a strategic puzzle on where do I need to be in order to take out that target. And so that essentially becomes the whole game of playing with the spear. The last thing I'd like to share with you guys is the best strategy that I found when using the spear against the Terminids. But before we do that, if you've enjoyed this video so far, please consider hitting that like and subscribe. It really helps us spread managed democracy on this channel. And for that, I really appreciate you guys. Right now, our goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers, and we'd love to have you on board. And with that, let's continue on how to squash some bugs.
Team reload required.
Team reload required indeed, and that's because with the bugs, you're more concerned about the heavy units that are trying to swarm you and less concerned about their structures, although it is nice that it can take out flyers' nests. The main thing you want to do is be able to send out as many rockets as possible and absolutely wreck an approaching Bile Titan or some chargers that are going after your friends. What I found is that you don't want to bring two spears. You just want to bring one spear, have your buddy wear the backpack, and you call down a rover or ammunition backpack for yourself. Now there tends to be a lot of ammunition on the maps, and you can call down ammunition pretty quickly, so I really think the rover is a much better choice, and also it gives you cover against hunters and small things while you're trying to focus on those chargers and Bile Titans. That means your friend's job is to primarily scour the map for ammunition, and if he has to call it down or scrounge for it, whatever he has to do to keep that backpack full and also be nearby you. So this is going to be something that is fun if you like to work closely with someone and have a really cool weapon for taking down some of the bigger Terminid enemies. This also means it's going to be a lot better for you if you two are communicating. So if you have someone that you can talk to on the mic, that's what I really recommend doing this with. And this also allows them to bring whatever support weapon they need. In this case, my friend was bringing an anti-material rifle, and so we were basically the long-range dudes sniping out fools and taking out all the big stuff. So if you're looking to improve your game through the power of friendship, I definitely recommend trying this out. It's a lot of fun, even if it's not the most efficient thing like two people bringing quasar cannons. Overall, getting good with a spear will make you the MVP of your teams. You take out key structures and save them when they're freaking out.
Grab flyers.
Grab your spear today and get good.
Oh.